Start this Cowboy shit out the way, man. Let's just move it to. This is why I really brought you here. I just said some Cowboy stuff to get the work done, just to put in the thumbnail that we talk Cowboys. But sir,
I think we handled that.
Yeah, we did well. We perfectly fine. How many minutes? We good. So Reggie, I did this long monologue yesterday on my show.
Yeah,
and you know, this is basically Kendrick proving the idea of art versus like the poppy shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think this whole battle comes down to. And it's art versus poppy shit. And I think a lot of people that's caping for one side. I ain't gonna say what side just yet because I don't know what side you on. I don't wanna, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, okay.
I know where you at though, man, because you seem to be a man of substance and a man of wit and a high level of intellect. So I think I know what side you on. But this is like the microwave versus the home cooked meal. And I think it's so many layers to it, sir. What side of this rap beef are you on with Drake and Kendrick?
You are right in the side that I'm on, because I am very much on that Kendrick high power, all of that. However, I think you might be a little bit off on why I'm there. Right. You talk about art versus substance, and there is something to say about that. Like, I was listening because obviously, right, Kendrick dropped. I listened to that about 20 times. I went back to listen to Push Ups, went back to listen to Taylor Made. Like, I'm in this for the beef, baby. I went all the way through, and one of the things that I could hear was just like, oh yeah, this is one of the things I love, the meticulous nature in which Kendrick makes music, right? Like, you can hear it, the mixing, down to the mixing. You could tell that he took this seriously as a song. And I was comparing that to like Taylor Made, which sound a little flatter, right? Which, I mean, comes back to like kind of that pop sound. But the reason why I enjoy this, all that stuff is cool and ancillary, although I have been going for like what feels like 48 hours straight in the group chat, just that back and forth with the homies. That man hates him. Like, this is the part that I enjoy. He absolutely hates that dude's guts, right? Like, all of that other stuff, like, you know, this is cool. He hates that man, and he hates everything about that man. And he gets to the thing why I don't like to use the word hate in this regard, but I very much dislike Drake. And I'm not speaking about Aubrey. Well, maybe I am speaking about Aubrey. That dude is disingenuous as all get out, right? Like, I know we can cuss here, but I'm trying to be better about it. But he is so disingenuous. And I mean, look, a lot of people clock game for him a long time. I've called that dude a culture vulture for a long time. Like, he's a wave rider, right? First it was Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Then he popping up with WizKid, jacking the Afro beats flow. Then he's all over the place, just wave riding, because like, I don't know who he is. Right. And like, that is just the artistic part of it. Kendrick and before him, Pusha T. Man, that
hey, look, you just can't say Pusha T no more. Yeah, Pusha T.
Pusha T. They got to it. They were like, hey man, you disingenuous. You moving like this in your music, but you also moving like this in life. Like, you not real. Like, you out here looking for validation in all other places. And let me tell you, we not validating you. We don't respect you as a man. I was like, yo, that's the heart of beef. I do not respect you. Right. Because we could talk about the lyricism and everything. Right. We can go back to the history of beefs. Lyricism does stuff, but it don't get you over. This is about disrespect, brother. And those guys both actively disrespect him on the track, and then they actively don't respect him as a dude. And that is the fun part of it for me. Yeah, man.
You know, just mind you, I was out when Drake was outside and he was like great. I was a huge Drake fan at that point. But to your point, I feel like when he was at his best, he was himself, right? Like, he was just a sensitive. This is what I'm dealing with this woman that I love, but she's with one of my rapper friends. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's giving me advice that I shouldn't fall in love with this stripper. Man, you know what I'm saying? And I just, do you see? And I just feel like, man, dog, yeah, I've been to a club and I probably love the stripper a little bit too much. You was a little relatable, right? But ever since, and you made a great point that I haven't thought about, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas was kind of riding this Houston wave, right? But maybe I just chalked that up to, hey, man, this is where he just got his, first loves from, and maybe he just kind of integrated himself into that style a little bit. Right. But ever since Too Late, if you're reading this, it's too late. Ever since that, Nothing Was the Same may have been his last album that I love to pieces. But ever since Too Late, I even when it first came out, I remember thinking, it's like, man, you sound like somebody else. You sound like somebody else. Views, you sound like nobody else. And this is what I love about you, sir. You know, everybody that's not liking the Kendrick, right? The Euphoria. There's well, what did Kendrick say? What did Kendrick say? They're looking for like punchlines, right? It's the small.
He's got those two.
He has those two. You know, he got the easy stuff too. I probably gonna get that. But he has like the underneath, like just the one-liners. Like, there's no accent you can sell me, right? Just a small line like that people may not look at as a line, but there's no accent you can sell me. I remember the day where I was like, when did Drake start being mines? When did Drake?
All of it, bro.
Tings.
Roadman ting, all of that. Like, bro, what is this?
Look, Reg, I remember when he said nothing was the same. So I know he has the ability to say two H's. Oh, we have nothing was the same. And he was in his Aubrey voice, but all of a sudden, tings and mines and tings combination and all this. I'm like, where this come from? And
it's the wave, baby. It's the wave.
And we don't know who you are. We don't know who you are. And I just love Rick Ross kind of inserting himself in this thing. And he just set the table perfectly. I'm glad that he's kind of falling back a little bit, because Drake needs to give Kendrick his undivided attention for this. And he don't need to talk to nobody. He don't need to talk to Future. He don't need to talk to Metro. He don't need to talk to Weeknd. Nobody. You need to talk to Kendrick right now and put all your focus into that. But Drake doesn't know who he is. And watch this, Reggie. Then I'm going to let you go. I don't even think that he knows what type of MC that he is, right? He thinks he's, oh, well, I'm a top tier MC that battles for mine. You're a pop star, sir. And I think if you just lean into pop star like you've been doing, you're fine. But there's this ultra side of his ego that wants to go, I want to get in there and rap with the best. You do not. You do not. Because I don't even think he could be, I don't think he could beat Rick Ross one-on-one. Ross is ridiculous. I don't think he could beat him. But Kendrick Duckworth, no, sir. This is a huge identity crisis, and Kendrick is going to expose it. And I don't know how Drake can even win, because he got so much smut on his name and he can't out-rap him. I don't know what he does.
Well, here's the thing. He can rap, though. Like,
yeah.
He can't rap. Like, I don't want to get out here lying just because I don't like the way that he kicks it. Mm-hmm. Drake can rap. Like, don't get that twisted. I think the thing about it for me is, like, you started talking about the artistry, and this has always been a thing for me as well. That dude is stunted. Like, I like to see my artists develop and grow over time. And it feels like he's making the same record in different voices for years and years and years. But that's a whole different thing, right? Like, I'm not trying to get into my personal beefs of this. Let's keep this relatively objective, right? But yes, like, he can rap. Don't get me wrong. It feels like it's not even like he doesn't know what MC, he doesn't know who he is. Like, it's not even necessarily that I want to rap with these dudes. Like, I want to beat these dudes, right? That's what Kendrick's getting at when he's like money, power, respect, all those things. You thought that was, you know, like he thought that was going to make him get to this place. That's where that's why you're smarting him. You getting into him with that. I don't want to hear you say nigga no more. Like, it's just, yo, you want to be us. And you know what I mean when I say us. Yeah. And you ain't, like, maybe you think you convincing some folks, you not convincing us. And the question that it seems like, but all these dudes are raising is, are you convincing yourself? And that's why this beef is real crazy. I think Bomani Jones mentioned this, of course, the God, right? He's talking about the idea that, you know, some beefs are for like everybody, or some like diss tracks are for everybody, and some are for an audience of one. And it feels like all these dudes are hitting him on the audience of one. Like, yo, who do you believe you are?
Sure.
Are you convincing yourself on that, dog? And oof.
Maybe he doesn't really want to fight back, though. Maybe he doesn't want to be that MC, but it's just that he has so much pressure of his legacy that he feel like he has to say something. Because even sending a cease and desist on the Like That record, you ain't like that. You ain't like that record. You know what I'm saying? Like why did you do that? There's so many. Just this was a story.
He's gamed the system.
This was a story.
Can I take you back to the Meek Mill?
Please, yeah, please.
Meek should have bodied him. Like, if we were going on the old school, you know, kind of rules of rap, unwritten rules of rap. And I understand, like, shout out to Slim Charles. The thing about the old days, they the old days, right? But the old days, right? Claiming that an MC did not write his rhymes, you're dead in these streets. Yeah. Meek should have bodied him off of that. Yeah. Now, Meek misplayed some things. Don't get me wrong, right? Meek talking about we gonna beat you up. All right, cool. But like, you realize Drake memed his way to a win in that beef. Yeah. He's been playing, and you notice he's doing a little bit of that memeing himself here, right? Like that's been part of his game. Like, he been just kind of like technicality, TKO type stuff in the way that these beefs go, right? And so that cease and desist, I find that in my mind that falls in line with all of that. We're trying to technicality our way to this stuff. That record, we can kneecap that by not using the strings of the record company and doing stuff like that. Like, and this is what comes back around again. We don't respect you, dog.
Right.
This is how you get down.
Sure.
We don't respect you in this game, where especially someone like, and this is bringing it full circle. You talk about Kendrick, a dude of substance, a dude who believes in this stuff, in the way that this stuff goes.
Yeah.
He's like, this is how you kicking it in the rap game, right? You out here disrespecting the voice of a legend, one of his legends, Tupac, right? Yeah. We don't respect you. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that gets me.
Just even like sneaky behavior, right? Like just listening to TaylorMade, right? And first of all, that it sounds soulless. That like it doesn't sound like you're saying anything to us. But even the idea of, hey man, we're trying to hear, hurry up. I wonder if that was Drake's way to make Kendrick release a subpar record, or was that his way of making or putting pressure on Kendrick to try to cut some edges. And what I love about Kendrick said, hey, I ain't worried about your memes, dog. You can internet me all day. Internet ain't gonna beat me right now. I'm gonna take my time and I'm going to be meticulous. I'm going to think about what DMX has had to say about you and all your peers has had to say about you. I'm going to, we're going to go to the Wiz and we're going to play it backwards at the beginning. I want people to dissect this for so long. And then just the work and the effort that's put into it. Now Kendrick dropped this damn diss song, and I don't even remember that Drake was even putting Kendrick on a clock. And mind you, Kendrick dropped in 17 days. I think Drake dropped in like 22 or something like that. So Kendrick came out quicker than you, and his was more artistically dense than your record. You can't size 7 men's your way through this. You can't,
a funny bar though. A funny bar.
Hilarious bar. But look, I'm a fan of battle rap also, right? Yeah. Just watch battle rap. And Calico had this fantastic line. He was battling Twerk, New Jersey Twerk, right? And he was like, hey man, look, you rap good, but I ain't lied yet. And I think that line is you rap good. Fantastic bars by you, sir. You can simile me to death today, but I haven't lied to you yet. Kendrick ain't lied to Drake not one time. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to end up defeating Drake. Drake got smut on his name. And Drake even tried to get in front of it. Hey, what you gonna say something about the kids? Man, I'm
crazy because, dude, that's a problem. Like, you bringing that up doesn't make it any better, dog.
No.
Why you texting Millie Bobby Brown? Leave her alone.
Not only am I going to mention the kids, but I'm going to release this on National Kids Day. And I'm going to name it Euphoria.
Also, yes, this is the thing, right? I've seen 6-7 level conspiracy theories. Like, shout out to Kendrick for bringing conspiracy rap back. Like, real rap is back, because we out here creating all sorts of conspiracies that maybe he didn't even have in there.
The internet going crazy on this. Kendrick didn't even think about that shit. The internet going, but I'm here for it. Go ahead.
But yeah, let me come back to that clock thing, because that's also another thing, right? You said maybe he's trying to push Kendrick. No. He's trying to frame the jury. Like, he's trying to put the framework in front of the jury. Because what is the rubric? I know for you, you're like, lies is going to, or telling the truth versus lies is going to, for you, someone who is maybe dyed in the wool of where rap beats have been and where rap battles go. There's a lot of folks out here that's talk about streaming numbers and all these other things. Like, what is the consensus rubric for who wins a rap battle nowadays? I don't know that there is one. And he out here like, look, if I can throw a whole bunch of things, like there's a thing in law called oh God, I think it's basically like shotgun arguing is the basic. I can't remember exactly the term. People think I'm smart. This is what happens in my brain. Like, kind of smart. What happens? But the idea is like, you throw a whole bunch of theories at the wall, see what sticks, even if they're like kind of concurrent, not necessarily in the same line. Just throw a whole bunch of stuff out the wall, see what sticks. And that's kind of what's happening here. Like, I'm gonna hit you here, I'm gonna hit you there, I'm gonna hit you in all different places and see if I can kind of just scatter this. And part of like putting people on the clock, even though he took a good long time, is like, I'm going to obfuscate the idea that I took a while by now putting it on you, like, oh, and making it seem like you not taking a long time because I'm talking about it, right? Like, oh, you on the clock? Where you at? Right? He hit Meek with that, with the back to back, right? Like, we've seen these kind of for lack of a better term, tricks. Because again, that's kind of, there's a, I don't know. I'm trying to be, again, relatively objective in the way that I talk about this. But yeah, man, these are the tricks that he's utilizing to try and like game the beef, at least in the way that me and you see it.
Yeah.
There's other people that see it differently, and it works in those ways. The problem is, again, that's if the other person engaged in this battle or the other people engaged in this beef are trying to argue to the same jury. And again, was abundantly clear. Kendrick ain't talking to no jury outside. Kendrick is talking to that man and that man alone.
I think
we do not respect you.
I think it's hard to be objective about the beef though, because I just think, and this is me being objective because I'm a fan of both relatively. Like Kendrick he gave you so much. He gave you 6 minutes. I was like, this got to be
six and a half.
6.5.
Like, there was more in there too.
I'm like, this got to be like an interlude in here or something. I'm thinking like, but he never rambled not one time. There was no filler. You know what I mean? Everything that he said meant something to you. And look, there are young kids running around the internet that have no idea about the Hill figure FUBU correlation or whatever. Like even him kicking it off, calmly. He's setting you up for the ass whoop that you getting later. Like he gave you 3 beat switches, and they all get more and more intense.
Yes.
Yeah, they all get more and more intense, and he's building on every point that he's laid up to this point right now. By the time he got midway through the second beat, I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing else we can do here. And then it was like, I ain't even bleed him yet. Should I bleed him? Bet. Then he got into the sexy red stuff, and then he got into how you raise your kids. And what I really loved about
you don't know nothing about that.
What I loved about the don't know nothing about that is it started off you don't know nothing about raising your kids in general, but I think it just ended up being you don't know nothing about integrity at all.
Yes,
let alone not even teaching your kids something.
That's right. You're an insufficient father, and not just because you're an insufficient father, it's because you as a human are insufficient. You are not a man.
You're subpar, sir. You're subpar, sir.
You're a man that is insufficient, and I do not respect you.
Dog, it ain't even like, okay, you're intelligent, but you're a deadbeat dad, so you just ain't passing it along. Your spirit is empty. Like you look like you. And you know what? We've been seeing pics of Drake just at the club, just with his head down, and you know what? I think that there's something too, which goes even further to the whole Euphoria thing and the whole kid thing. We can be grown, but we could talk to 21-year-olds, be like, "Oh, these kids don't XYZ." Like, I think Drake is exhausted being 32, 33, however old he is, but constantly around.
He's older than 32. Let me tell you.
30. See, I don't even know how old I'm motherfucker, but I know he older than me. I'm 32. He got to be like 35, at least 36, 37. But I know
37 years of age.
37. So look, Reg, I know how I feel when I'm around 20-year-olds long enough.
Brother.
I get sick of them. I get tired of them. Like, what y'all don't know shit. Y'all and 20-year-olds are supposed to be the soulless people that don't have a grasp on what's going on. They're not emotionally intelligent just yet. And you're trying to fit in with those people. It's almost like you're degrading yourself just to fit in with those people. Kendrick said, I got the lyrics pulled up. He was even like, man, what you hanging out with Yachty for? that ain't gonna make you black. What you hanging around with? I don't give a fuck who you hang with. And I'm just like, a small bar like that, when people that hate Euphoria loudly on the internet, Gilly and them, I'm shame of Gilly. But all these people are saying, what did Kendrick say? Man, look, y'all could talk about the sexy red line and you don't know nothing about that line, but it's the one-liners, bro. I don't care about you hanging out with Yachty. I don't care about who you hang with. Those people are not going to make you more black. And this ain't even about, just being, because some people's like, well, J. Cole's light skinned. Why y'all not tripping on him? This is just more so about who you are, not like black, like you light skinned or something like that. This is not a colorism thing. You text your mom and call a black man racist. You know what I'm saying? You text your mom and call a black man racist. Yeah. This ain't about being black. You could be black as seal, but if you doing shit like that, we gonna say the same shit about you.
Right, exactly. Like, this is, again, this is a matter of respect, right? Like, we do not respect you as a black person. And it's not because your daddy ain't black or whatever. It's because of the way that you kick it. You do it like, and this is like, now we get into like the sociological portions of this where, black people have had to like kind of in-group this for a very long time and like gatekeep the borders of this. And that was kind of a human response in order to keep safety, right? Like we have to, think of like, in the Jim Crow South, the way that a mom will have to like beat their child, but it's like better me than you going out there and getting lynched and killed, right? Like in order to kind of establish boundaries, right? We've done this for a long time in particularly the Black American community, right? Like the idea of having to, gatekeep the edges in order to keep folks within a place of safety. At least that's the way that it goes. And hey, brother, we looking around and you not in the gates.
Yeah.
Right. Like you not operating in such a way that, reflects the moral values and all of these things. And again, we don't respect you because you don't have those things, but you out here trafficking in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even just that you're out here trafficking here and that you're fake, right? Because that's one thing. It gets deeper. It's like emotionally you want it, right? It's not just that you're cosplaying. It's not that you're putting it on. This ain't necessarily OJ, right? This isn't just you are using us, because that's one thing that comes with a different level of anger. This is, oh, you want to be us so bad, but you can't.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think anybody has a problem with like the, Jack Harlow's of the world or the Post Malone's of the world, because I think at the end of the day,
there's some problems in there.
It's a problem in there too. Okay, cool. Why I gonna say shit else? I'm move on for that. But I think that what's my man's the not that white guy, but the other white guy. They're all white guy rappers.
Are you talking G-Eazy?
Not G-Eazy, because I don't listen to him. But it's just I feel like, you could be the white guy and just be yourself as a white guy, and we'll be cool with you being yourself as a white guy. But the minute that you try to be something, hey man, make me dance away in my hands, bro. This is okay. You don't have to be mob ties guy. You don't have to be, gangster dude. Like your mentor, Weezy, told you to stay Canadian. Boy, that hit the internet today, and I remember when it first came out. Stay Canadian. Don't get tattoos like me.
Don't forget, Kendrick's the dude that gave us "You Ain't Got a Lie to Kick It," my nigga. Like that's. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie to kick it.
Sure. Let me ask you this. This is a theory that I had, right? When I was listening to Like That, and Kendrick was saying, your last work was a light pack. Prince outlived Mike Jack, right? Do you? I think that's more than just about Prince dying after Mike died, right? I think that has a larger meaning, like. Real music or like the real artists are always going to last longer than the poppy guys, right? Or and maybe it doesn't work directly to Prince and Michael Jackson because people love Prince and Michael Jackson here, but for the most part, the artists always live longer than the pop stars typically do. Like Quincy Jones will forever be one of the GOATs musically because of what he is musically, right? Like people will always hold him in a higher regard than like a poppy one album wonder type character. You see what I'm saying? So do you think that maybe Kendrick may be alluding to Drake in that way, Drake being Michael Jackson, and Kendrick said on Mask Off, Prince lives through me. You know what I'm saying? So do you think that that's a way of saying, hey man, you doing all this poppy shit, your music isn't gonna last as long? And he even said it in here somewhere, I forgot where he said it, but he was like, I got classics and you don't. Basically, Kendrick has music that's going to live forever. Like not even hip hop, but like every genre got a critic that appreciates Kendrick music.
The guy's got a Nobel, doesn't he?
He got a Pulitzer.
A Pulitzer, my bad.
I'm a Pulitzer. And there are people in hip hop that don't even respect Drake. So what's your take on that? Because that's something that I took from it. Like, I'm gonna always live longer because I'm more artistically dense than you. And I can even make an argument that my diss song is gonna last longer than yours because I put more time and effort into mine, and you talking about shoe size on yours.
Like, I mean, you nailed it. Like, I think that's a perspective. I'm still interrogating that within myself because I don't actually know. I'm not exactly sure how that works because, I mean, I don't know that that's universal. Sure. You know what I mean? Like the idea, because there's great pop songs that have lived forever, sure. And I think we're getting to a point where, again, this is just kind of a divided type situation. The people that rock with Drake, none of this is going to change the way that they feel in rocking with Drake. I don't know. I'm sincerely don't know exactly how his work stands over time, because I know that there's going to be songs that stick to people's bones, and I don't know if that's going to still stand the same. But like the artistic value of it, I would agree with that sentiment. The idea that, hey man, Kendrick has stuff that will stand for a long time, that will particularly be able to be like, you know, really, I guess, interrogated, to use that word again. Like, we're seeing rap end up in the halls of academia, being studied in various places, and I sincerely believe that you're more significantly more likely to see a Kendrick song end up in that place and be dissected by people studying it than a Drake song, right? Like, I do think that you're in that place, and I think that's probably what he's getting to. And it's easy to make that point when you're Kendrick Lamar, right? Like, it's easy to make that point when that is your viewpoint to begin with. But I agree with that, but I'm also sitting here being the dude who enjoys Kendrick Lamar significantly more than Aubrey J. Graham.
Does Drake have a classic album, like a classic album? Like, let's just kind of visit that for a second, right? Like, what is like something that's timeless? A timeless album. I was making this video, right? Jimmy Johnson had a little Ring of Honor thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a song to this, and I just picked Dr. Dre, "Let Me Ride." You know what I'm saying? Like, The Chronic gonna live forever. You know what I'm saying? You know, Doggy Style, those albums are gonna live forever. Life Before Death and all that. All Eyes on Me. Certain albums are gonna live forever. I think To Pimp a Butterfly and at least Good Kid, Mad City is gonna live forever. Section 80 should. But I think I love Section 80. But I think at least those two albums should. Does Drake truly, not just a good album for this decade, a good album for the era, does Drake have an album that's gonna live in 20 years?
I don't know. And in part, I'm gonna be goodness gracious.
It's okay. Take your time.
That's nasty. I'm all in the microphone.
Take your time.
But I'm not the person to ask about this.
Sure.
I'm looking at Drake's discography right now, and the album that I listened to front to back last was So Far Gone, right? Like, this is not where I traffic in. I realized relatively early, and when I say I listened to So Far Gone, I loved So Far Gone.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. But like, I realized very quickly, oh, this isn't for me. And I'm also very much not the person who's like gonna stand on the rooftop and tell everybody that I hate a thing. I'm just like, yo, this is not for me. It's for y'all. Y'all have it. Not saying that there haven't been Drake songs that I've heard and that I've enjoyed, right? Madiba Rhythm pulls up plenty of times on my title. But yeah, I don't really have a full accounting of his work to be able to say whether something's gonna live for a long time. And then also, again, I feel like and now I don't want to digress into a whole conversation on the music industry, because I'm interested in seeing how different albums work. But I feel like for him, he is trying to, as a lot of artists have, I don't think that this is unique to him, embrace streaming in such a way where they're getting the money off it. Like, you're seeing albums balloon up, you're seeing editing go away, you're seeing folks not necessarily create cohesive projects, because what you're going for is, this is the shotgun effect. I'm gonna give you 23 songs. You're gonna run through them. You might skip through a whole bunch of them 30 seconds in, but you're gonna find 5, 6 that you like and run those. And so that's a lot different than an era where we're putting an album that has 13 tracks and that all kind of flow together and mean something together, right? And I don't know exactly what a classic album means in that era, right? Are we going to ingratiate or appreciate what some of those end up being, or are we going to stick to what has been kind of our primary understanding previously, where we're looking for all of those things and we're not going to water down the rubric? And I know that the easy answer to be like, well, we're not going to water down the rubric, but that's not how the world works. We see the way the rubrics get watered down all the damn time.
Do you think that there's something to maybe, and this may not be like right, but I'm just bouncing off of what you're saying, right? So let's just say you take More Life, which was even branded as a playlist, right?
Yeah.
We talk about an album that got Passion Fruit and, you know, Portland on it. You know what I'm saying? Like those two songs kind of, you know. So do you think that music that is made to be forgotten stands a chance to live? I mean, just you know, if I'm making an album, a playlist, More Life, right, with 23 songs on it, you're gonna keep 8 of them, right?
Yeah. That
means you've crafted this album with the idea that I'll be fine if somebody forgets 12 of these.
Absolutely.
If you listening to Butterfly, you need all these. You need all of these. And I kind of like how, you know, records are kind of built in that way. Like, you just kind of cut the bitch on and just let it go. Like, you can't just skip it. Just, you know what I mean? You got to just let it go. So there's no song on Butterfly that could just be left by yourself. Like you need me to go along with you, and you ain't got a lot to go along with with Wesley's theory, and it all comes together at the end and it gets wrapped up in a bow. The last song on More Life is just like Drake talking about more haters and shit, right? So do you think that there's something to making an album where, all right, I'm cool with you just deleting this. I'm cool with you just not even loving this song because at least you'll get 5 of them. I think that's a flaw in like album making in its own right.
It's a monetary approach, right? Like it's an approach that makes sense in the incentive structure that the music industry is giving you. From an artistic approach, I don't love it, right? Like it's one of the reasons why I love Kendrick Lamar. There is not an album that he's put out besides what Untitled Unmastered, which was like Lucy's basically. There's not an album that he's put out that has not been a cohesive project with a thematic approach, a motif all the way through this, right? Like there's been a full holistic approach in that. I personally appreciate when my records are like that. Like that is the way that I like to consume these things. I'm also not so bold as to believe that that's how everybody approaches this, but like that I find that to be more artistically fulfilling, right? The idea that this album has something to say, that it's trying to accomplish something, and it doesn't have to land it all the time. We've seen albums that do that do not land it, but the aspiration means something. And so for me and you that I think similarly, that matters to us. The thing that I don't want to discredit is one of the things about Drake and his lack of maturity is how many 20-year-olds do you see putting Drake lyrics on their Instagram quotes? Like it still happens. And one thing that we know about music, with all sorts of things, right? Music is crystallized, especially in that time of your life. The things that you like in that time of your life stick with you. I'm interested to see like if we have folks that 20 years down the line are still remembering fondly their late teens, early 20s, and maybe into early 30s for some folks, right? Yeah. With that, that Drake album, right? That meant something to them. Like the emotions that, although for Drake should have been, beneath him, for them, we're hitting them exactly in that point that meant something to them, right? I don't know how to, do the math on and the calculus on that in particular. And I still think that also will factor into this. But no, I'm with you, man. It means something a lot more when that album is fully put together and we're saying some things, or at least we're attempting to say some things, whether agreed upon or what have you, or whether you land the project. And that means something to me, but I don't want to discard that part.
Yeah, man, I think it was Drake's daddy, Dennis, that said on the end of Pound Cake, only good music is going to last and all the other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow. I just find that so ironic that's what young Aubrey's going through right now.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
One last thing for you, man. How do you score this? Like, what was the Kendrick won this round, but like, where did the rounds start? Like, is this Kendrick responding or is this Kendrick kicking it off? There's some people that's counting, like that as the first. So like, some people are saying like it's like that versus push-ups, and that this is the first one back for Kendrick. So how are you rating like what song versus what song? Where did it start?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I've necessarily always viewed these as rounds. I like seeing the flow of the thing, right? Sure. But if I was going to go for that, I would say that like that is the ember that officially made this beef, right? Because they have not liked each other, have had reasons to have some level of, friction for time, but the actual fire has started. Like that kicks that off, and then we get to the place where, ding, 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 fight, right? And so now you have push-ups, and then Drake, obviously, he likes hitting that double. Yeah. So he gets you again with Tailor Made, and now we have a response, and that's round one in my mind. If I had to view it as rounds, I'm not saying that's the absolute, because again, I like seeing these things as full-fledged, kind of, I don't know, the full flow of the river or what have you. Sure. And so hopefully, my thing about it at this point, rounds or not, I just hope this thing keeps going, because I still miss my surgical summer.
Yeah, still, man. To this day. That was a great time, man. Hey, man, just let them keep going back and forth. And, when we meet to the point where somebody made some undeniable shit and then somebody responded to that and that didn't hit as hard as the last one, that's how we decided to win. Whoever just went last. So that means if Drake's next shit I don't know how you gonna do it, but if his next shit isn't on par of Euphoria, I just want Drake to take his time, man. I don't want him to do the microwavy pop star stuff. You know what I mean? Call your writers. You know what I mean? Get about 10 of them and make sure they got some coffee and some as a fucking liquid gels, dog. Cause Kendrick coming for y'all. Man. Yo, Reggie, man. This was fun, dog. This was fun, and you know sure. I've been trying to get into the non-football stuff because that's where all the money at in real life. So
that's what people love, man.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to do this for a little bit. I was like, man, I got, and I was gonna talk mostly football with you today, and then Kendrick did this thing. I was like, nah, man, we're gonna do a whole 180 and talk to Reggie about hip hop, man. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here. Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
I'm at Reggie Adetula on Twitter, and I host the Get Right on 105 through the Fan. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. when there's not a Rangers game going. So you can find me usually on 105 through the Fan. And then every once in a while I'll hop on, I guess once a week, I'll hop on Locked On Mavs, talk a little bit of basketball over there with my guy, Nick Angstad. So trying to keep busy, trying to give the people what they want.
Sound fun, man. Sound fun. Till next time, bro. Appreciate you. Catch y'all next time, man. Salute.